We'll hear from Tom Brady talking about rookie quarterbacks and how things have changed over the years. In fact, he sat down with Stephen A. Smith over the weekend, and here's a portion of what he had to say about a rookie crisis in the NFL.
I had to learn from being seventh quarterback on the depth chart to moving up to third to ultimately being a starter. I had to learn all those things in college. That was development. Then I went to New England, and I was developed by Coach Belichick and the offensive staff there. I didn't start my first year. I think it's just a tragedy that we're forcing these rookies to play early. But the reality is the only reason why they are is because we dumbed the game down, which has allowed them to play. It used to be thought of at a higher level. We used to spend hours and hours in the offseason and training camp trying to be a little bit better than next year. But I think what happens is it discourages the coaches from going to deep levels because they realize the players don't have the opportunity to go to a deep level, so they're just going to teach them where they're at.
Okay, this feels like it's more about Tom Brady than it is the rookie crisis that's going on with quarterbacks. You have Jayden Daniels, you have Bo Nix. They have played over 50 games. So, in the style that you're playing in college is similar to what you have in the NFL. It didn't used to be that way, but now it feels like the NFL is adopting the college style because you had, offensive-minded geniuses. Mike Leach kind of changed things. June Jones. You had these offensive-minded head coaches who were changing the style of football. And it's a passing game. I'm looking at Caleb Williams. He's been a professional. Bo Nix has been a professional. Jayden Daniels is being a professional. They've been at two different universities. Also, they're getting paid. So it's not that shock of, hey, I'm getting money. I think they're more advanced coming in than they've ever been before. But Tom talking about, and Tom's playing to a crowd, by the way. So Tom is making it seem like back in my day, we walked uphill both ways to get to school. Okay. I know it's Tom and the greatest quarterback ever. I don't agree with what he's saying. He's making it about his story. Tom was not this guy who played like four games at Michigan. He started his junior and senior year. So he came in, and Tom wasn't highly thought of. That's why he was drafted where he was drafted. If you're a first-round draft pick, if you've played 50 games, you're ready. Bo Nix is 24. Michael Penix, I think, is 25. Jayden Daniels is probably 24. It's different now. You had COVID year, the transfer portal, NIL, and it feels like they're more advanced and ready to play right away. Yes, Eaton.
He's not wrong, though. That's the weird thing is that, like, Tom Brady's not wrong. You do have to be given time to develop. And so how many times have we seen somebody, it's like the pressure to go right from the draft to playing in the NFL for a quarterback, for most quarterbacks, is too much. There are a few that, let's see how Jayden Daniels does. He might be super developed. Let's see how Bo Nix does. We have no idea if any of them are going to be any good yet, really.
True. Yeah.
Trey Lance,
but I don't know,
he didn't play a whole ton, and he really hasn't done anything.
Well, he didn't have any experience. We're talking about guys who have played 50 games. Trey Lance played one season, and while he was great, perfect that season, he didn't play. And you're coming from a successful program, but are they? Bo Nix is running Auburn's offense and then Oregon's offense. Caleb is running Oklahoma's offense and then USC's offense. And then these coaches are catering these offenses to their quarterbacks. It didn't used to be that way. You had to adapt to the coach's style. This is the style that he plays. Nick Saban had to change. Nick Saban brought in Lane Kiffin because he needed to upgrade his offensive mind. He needed to expand what he had because he had unbelievable wide receivers. You didn't think of Alabama quarterbacks as great. Now it's different. But back, a while ago, you were a quarterback who maybe was asked to throw 15 times, hand the ball off. They were going to play great defense, and they were going to win games. These kids now, they're ready to go. They go to these camps, 7-on-7 camps, 11-on-11 camps. They're already emulating the style of offense that you see in the NFL. Yes, Paulie.
It does feel like, listen to that cut again. I think Stephen's got a point. Tom knows so much about quarterbacking. it does feel like he's critiquing the teams and handling of quarterbacks and saying they're too reactionary, they're too trustworthy of these young people, and not forcing them to sit. If you look at it, it was just 6 or 7 years ago, Mahomes sat an entire season. Now, he wasn't a superstar coming out of college. He wasn't advanced. He wasn't a sure thing. He was the words project were used around him. But it is interesting. Like Bo Nix, you'd think, okay, he's 24, he's ready, but why not 6 games? Why not sit for 6 games and start him in November? The Denver Broncos are not winning the Super Bowl. So are they going to think short-term or long-term? I think that may be what Brady is saying.
Well, I'm for a quarterback sitting. I don't, I think there's benefits of playing, but I think there's benefits of just watching. Because just understand the speed of everything that happens. Understand that, when there's live bullets there and they're actually calling in plays, you got to process the play. You got 2 plays at the line of scrimmage, like all of that. But if Bo Nix is already capable of starting in Denver, given Sean Payton's offense, which is very quick, fast-paced, okay, then I think you're ready to play in the NFL. And not everybody is, but Jayden Daniels, that's a lot of experience. Caleb Williams, that's a lot of experience. And it just feels like they've been semi-pro quarterbacks for a few years now. Tom played 25 games in his Michigan career. That's not a lot. That's 2 seasons. That's not a lot. With these kids now coming in, they're playing freshman year, sophomore year. How many games will Quinn Ewers be playing when he's all done at Texas? Probably 40 games. You're going to be ready to go into the NFL. Now, should you dumb down I don't know what Tom means. I would like to have had Stephen A. follow up and say, what do you mean dumb down? And maybe he did. That was at the Fanatics Fest that was in New York City. But I'd like to have heard, hey, what does dumb down the offense mean for these quarterbacks? Because it might be we're going to give you 1 or 2 reads, and then that's it. It's either this or that. Kyle Shanahan with what he's doing with Brock Purdy. Are they dumbing down the offense for Brock Purdy? I don't think Kyle Shanahan's offense, they would be doing that. Mike McDaniel, did he dumb down the offense for Tua? Doesn't seem that way. So that's why I'm a little confused with that. And look, Tom's forgotten more about quarterbacking than I know. But Todd, call for Tom Brady.
On it.
Yeah, just to be fair, we should have him. I can ask him just one question. What do you mean by dumbing down the offense? And just see what he says. But I like that Tom's opinion. It's like, we're hearing Bill Belichick be opinionated. I saw him on McAfee yesterday. He's breaking down the Pittsburgh Steelers offensive line. Now, he would never do that with the Patriots when he was coaching, but I like this opinion. Hearing that opinion, it's great. He's probably watching tape. Like I was geeking out that here's Belichick, a little more animated than he used to be when he was a coach, but he's getting paid an awful lot to be animated. It was good. It was fun. It was interesting. I mean, you got to be a football nerd to go, yeah, tell me about that tackle with the Steelers. And, he's talking about the quarterbacking situation. That's not the problem. The offensive line is the problem there. I'm like, all right, tell me, Bill. You go, Bill. Yes, Eaton.
For all of these guys that we mentioned that are working out, there's probably a dozen Kenny Pickett's who played 40, 50 games in college. And maybe it should have been dumbed down more for him.
Maybe he shouldn't have been a first-round draft pick.
Yeah, right, maybe he shouldn't have been a first-round draft pick, but he had tons of experience. He had tons of time to develop and was coming in much more mature than a lot of other quarterbacks had previously.
I don't think he was mature at all. I think he had problems. I think that's why he's a backup quarterback in Philadelphia. I don't know if he's going to be a starter, but you're right. These teams are willing to take a risk on a quarterback now that they didn't used to. That you'll go, may not be a first-round talent, but we need a quarterback. Let's take him, get him on a rookie salary, and then maybe we can build around him. Russell Wilson he got kicked to the curb at NC State, and then he went to Wisconsin. He had played a lot of football and was mature when he got to the NFL and ready to go a lot sooner than a lot of people. Dak Prescott pressed into action, and he seemed like he was ready to go at an earlier age than you would have thought. So, look, we can find a ton of quarterbacks who failed. and a ton that succeeded. Some have experience, some didn't. But I think for the most part, we're looking at here is the chain of command that if you go 3 years in college where you're starting, who's your head coach? I mean, how many defensive-minded head coaches do you have in college football? It feels like, I mean, Jim Harbaugh was, but that's a former quarterback, but he wanted, his teams to play great defense. I mean, Ryan Day is an offensive-minded head coach at Ohio State. A lot of these guys are offensive-minded head coaches because that's what the game has evolved into.